the middle of just kind of doing some work here, getting my co-working space set up, and we're currently in the process of is getting these, which is these are like little docking stations people come into. You see they've got HDMI, a couple USBs, and then a USB-C, USB 2.0, USB 3.0, and then a USB, yeah, the USB 3. So what we're doing is basically just Velcroing these down so people can have them. It's not the most exciting way, but this is, also just part of the work that has to be done in these spaces. When you're looking at these things, it's just kind of it's work that needs to be done, no matter what you do. And it's one of the things I talk with my clients about ad nauseum is, doing the work that needs to be done, not the work you want to do, the work that needs to be done. That's the difference between a successful entrepreneur and, just being a dreamer. You've got to be willing to do this type of work, which is literally just carving this up. Just trimming this Velcro tape to size. So fit like that on there. So I can secure it down. Like that's all we're doing. Doesn't take a lot of work, but every little bit of this just takes a little bit of time. Now, I thought I got the right size the Velcro tape. I did not. So I thought it would be the right size, or however you want to say it. That not being the case. So we are, addressing that right now. But yeah, no, it's been good. I'll tell you one thing. So we've been, oh man, has it ever been some time here lately? We have had, on and off snow now for almost a week, and we're waiting for that next round of snow to come in. Currently, that's kind of waiting to see right now. There you go. And we're just waiting to see what that next round of snow is going to look like, because, it's just a thing. We were supposed to get a ton of snow. Like we were supposed to get between 8 to 12 inches over the next couple of days, and that's slowly gone down, which is great. I will take that. They're trying to predict lake effect snow, which anybody who's ever been around lake, when it comes to lake effect snow, good luck actually predicting that, because it is 100% dependent upon the way the wind's blowing. And you never know exactly how that low pressure system is going to present itself. That's just something you don't know. So anyone who ever says they've got it figured out when it comes to stuff, you have no idea. So, but yeah, so really what we're doing now is, like I was saying, I got the Velcro tape at the bottom of these here. Move it over just a little bit so you guys can see. And hey, what's happening, man? So yeah, we're working on our hot seats. If you remember the individual desks, I'm currently on one, and all of the good Lord, why can't I remember the little docking stations that I have for them, right? They come in, that are going to connect with the monitor here. I want to secure them all on the desk because I just don't want them flopping around everywhere. So I got my Velcro tape, which is this stuff here, right? These two little deals, right? Right, they're all sticking together. I got them there. I got to cut them to size. They're about a quarter inch too wide. So I'm just cutting them to size, and then we're placing them here on the workstation. So when folks come in, they just don't have the stuff flopping all over. I really want to have it as, neat and tidy as I can. That's actually one of the axioms that I have for my clients is always, do I work on PCs? No, I don't really. No, I don't work on them, but I know how to do all this stuff. If that makes sense. I've had plenty. I grew up around computers, and I was always, fiddling with them. But for the most part, I leave, there we go, this stuff to the professionals. So you can see that's what I'm setting up there. We're going to have this, and here's my HDMI cable for the monitor. That's just going to pop right in there, in theory, right? Don't make me into a liar here. There we go. See, so that's locked in, and they can move this around wherever they need to, and they'll be fine. So that's kind of the idea. So they can come in, plug in their laptop. They don't have to worry about this cable kind of going all over the place. You know what I mean? And then they can move their the monitor here. That's the other spot. I want them to be able to, if they want the monitor on this side, they can move it freely, and then they don't have to worry about this extra stuff flopping everywhere. So, just it's just those little niceties that, the amount of time that I spent working in co-working spaces myself, that just little annoyances I'm trying to undo there. But yeah, and we've been dealing with, and I'm thankful today too, though we had a ton of snow was supposed to be on the way here, like a metric ton, and it didn't show up. So I'm very thankful in that. I did not want to be out shoveling. Oh, perfect. Oh, so this is for a co-working space. I own the building, and we're building, and so this is me just building out. They can rent um, this spot basically for either daily or weekly or monthly. We have a lot of people that live in swap over here, live and work, or they live in the lake houses here, lake houses in this region, and um, what I want to do is basically give them a spot. A lot of them would like a place where they can work away from their home, better internet, all that stuff. So that's what I'm building out here. So I've got 8 different spots here. Yeah, my crown is cool. I'm using socks. Yeah, I actually had to break out a new set of boots, as a matter of fact, because my other ones I had, they were, yeah, my feet were getting cold while I was working outside, so we didn't want that. So yeah, this is a pretty boring section of this, but this is the type of work when I talk to business owners, like you have to do. So I haven't opened this up yet, but business is, there is definitely business out here for this. The folks heard that I'm putting this in, and I've already had, I wouldn't say a large number, but it's been a pretty consistent people hitting me up and letting me know when they're ready. When I'm ready, they want to come in and start renting space for me. So be good. Hey, what's happening there? What's that? What's that? Sunman? Sunman Receipts. Hey, I like that. I like that name. So, but yeah, there is trouble in a lot of office spaces. There's folks that if I was trying to rent this out for a company, hold the entire building, there aren't a lot of takers. They're just not there. But for individual, you know, you have the contractors and the work from home folks, and a lot of contractors, they just need a place to be able to come and do work and have a business address. This will be good for them. There's a good market for that. Um, it's kind of like WeWork, but the problem with WeWork is that they were basically oversaturated the market. And here in rural Michigan, there just isn't any. Yep, there you go. That's exactly. Yep, you got it. That's just what I was saying there. They over inflated the concept, absolutely. And for here, like I have a lot of in the lakes around this community, the lake towns. There's I mean, I know of at least 10 programmers who moved up here from Chicago, um, Chicago, Detroit, Indianapolis, around the area there, down in Cleveland. Maybe moved up here just because they could do it remotely, but they don't have a place like this. So I dropped a gig line in here. They're gonna have plenty of bandwidth. If I need to get more, I'll get more. So no worries there. I think they're gonna enjoy the space. I needed an office for my work because I'm a business consultant, so I needed this space. So that's why I set it up as well. My wife wanted, hey Jasmine, it's good to see you. Hopefully having a good day. But a big part of what I did this. My wife, she wanted a gym in the in the house, so I needed me to move out. My office became her gym, and I frankly I just wanted to get an office too. I wanted to make sure I had better work life separation. When I had my business directly in the house there, man, I was working on stuff all the time, or if I was bored, I'd just go hop in and do some work for my clients, and I didn't have that. You know, I didn't have that separation like I wanted. So what do you got there? Maybe prioritize business that actually, yeah, they need office space, 100%. And that's the thing too here. So if somebody, I'm gonna show you here real quick. Go for a quick walk while I'm doing this, guys. I show you the space. So, like, out front here, but this is like one of the offices that's available. You can get, and they're going to get a standing desk, a chair. I've got a monitor that they can hook into, as well as they're going to start off with just a little office, little cabinet, nothing crazy. But they're going to have a decent amount of space in here to where if they ask me and they want another desk, I'll throw another desk and chair in here for them for a little bit of extra cost, and they can expand, right? Or same thing, they don't always need a conference room, but when they do need one, I've got one set up for them, so they can come in and just rent it, by the hour as they need it. There's that piece, and then there's this larger room. This doesn't have it, but it will have. When I rent this one out, this will be a 2 desk place. So if there's there's a small group of folks that are working together and they need a spot, they're going to have it. So last piece here, just since we're doing a little tour, right? I got up away from doing work. Is this spot back here? Like usual, small little kitchenette, nothing crazy, right? And then they got a little area they can just come chill out. Want to have some food or they want to work over here. And I'm eventually going to get on this here, just a couple bar stools that they can sit up on, right? And just want to eat their food, or just everybody wants to come hang out. So the last piece, which I think you guys will like, here's this room in here. I'm actually going to build a little podcast recording area, because we don't really have a spot for people who want to do recordings, want to do podcasts. So I'm going to set them up in my area with a nice little spot. So that's kind of the idea here. It's the stuff that, honestly, I'm just building out the stuff that I'd like. I think there needs to be some sort of boundary between different offices. Yeah, and that's so, like, currently this is a co-working space. My next building that I'm going to set up, I'm going to create in this area. I'm going to create corridors, basically, where you'll come in and it will be, you can rent 2 to 3 offices as a whole. And then, but this is meant really for those, let's say for an architect. Feel free to insert any sort of professional that there's a designer, right? They're working on a house most time, but they want to come in here, have a professional business address, and then if they need a place to present to clients, that's kind of the feel from the vast majority of folks who've reached out to me so far. And they found out I was doing this. So it's like professionals come in, got a space, and then they can meet their clients here, and also have a professional mail address too, which a lot of folks is big. Yep. Yeah, exactly. So it's one of the reasons where we talk about that. Yeah, exactly right. That tribalism. The other thing I'm going to be doing too, which I've liked at some of the other spots, co-working places I did, is we're going to have a calendar. We're going to kind of have a group chat, if you want, lack of a better phrase, where we're going to be doing events together. Where I'm going to have opportunities for hosting events. One, we have a great river right down the road here with kayaking and other stuff. So maybe we put together some events where we all collectively can we want to meet up, go as an entire co-working space and go float the river, go do that for a couple hours. But I'm also going to be hosting business training events too, as a way for, like you mentioned with that tribalism piece there, where I want this to be a spot where collectively we're all working together to help each other with our businesses. I'm a business coach, so I spend a lot of time obviously helping a large group of different types of businesses. So I'd love to be able to leverage that and help some of these smaller businesses that are in here to be able to be more successful later, right? So they can eventually be clients of mine outside of, renting space from me. They can eventually afford me and have me help them grow their businesses. So, it's those little things. Okay. Man, I tell you, I'm not going to lie. This whole Diddy situation has absolutely been, as my wife and I have just been dying laughing about it. Not because of what happened, but more on the irony piece of it. Like another one of these individuals that is larger than life and lived larger than life, and everyone knew the open secret, whatever that was, right? And then now that they've got enough evidence to go after him, it's all falling apart and everybody's dogpiling on Diddy. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just not going to be good. So, hybrid environment, we're probably protected. What social? Yeah, that's the idea. We're gonna, honestly, you're not so ghetto. You're not bringing. Is it ghetto? I'm just say ghetto planet. Oh, it's probably right, ghetto. You're not wrong. My thing is, I just want to. I'm going to be throwing a whole lot of mud at the wall and seeing what sticks. Because I don't want there to be any assumptions like this is the one way or this is how we're going to do things here. The first couple of years are going to be me just kind of seeing exactly what these folks want and then just kind of go from there. You know what I mean? And then also be ready to go. Like for instance, like right now, as you guys can see, we've got like these two spaces right here. You know, two different spaces. I'm going to have one more divider that's going to be available if people want it right there. So they can put up the divider if they really want privacy, you know. But you know, my concern is that does it start getting too enclosed in at this point, you know? And that's what I mean. So we just got to figure it out and give everybody opportunity to kind of set up the way they want. There may be some people, you know, they rent and they may want to, they're okay with having it enclosed in and away from folks, and that's fine. I'll have to move them around to make sure that they're sharing space with the, you know, the right people. You know, it's kind of like that old saying, old phrase where, you know, when you're selecting your airline seat, are you a talker or are you not a talker, right? Do you want to, you know, are you the person I just want to come in and sleep or not? So, oh yeah, not mandatory, not at all. No, it's not mandatory. It'd be like, yo, I'm organizing this. If y'all want to come, great. If not, no worries. I'm going to be on the river by myself. It's fine. That's what I meant. Like I'm not going to it's not a, you know, they're paying to be here. I can't make them do anything they don't want to do, but it's going to be more of the, hey, for those that are looking for connection because they are remote workers, but they still, you know, they see people in here every day. I want to give them an opportunity to, if they want a community build, I want to make sure that as part of being here, I'm there to help them with that community building, if that makes sense. Because there are people that want to do that. They all want to get together. I've never been one of those, but I just because I'm not one of them doesn't mean I don't want to offer that as a service. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Because for a lot of folks, when they're moving on to my next spot here. All right. Where we at? Okay, cool. Yeah, like I was saying, end of the day, I just want to make sure that there's stuff that I want to do, and there's stuff that I know other folks want, and it's just bridging the gap between those two, trying to figure out what that delta looks like and what I can do to take care of it. Because again, I'm in a very rural area here. We do not have, you know, it's pretty poverty-stricken area. I moved back to. I used to live in Portland, Maine, and I moved back here to Michigan, where I'm from, to help folks out here. You know, as far as a business coach, but not so. How's the delta looking, Coach? Well, currently, depends on which one of my clients you're talking about, but overarchingly right now, the delta on what people are expecting versus what I'm delivering, I've closed almost all those gaps. The only gap that I still have open here is the coffee bar experience. There's folks that they're going to expect a little bit more, and I don't necessarily have the infrastructure for what they want. So food and pasta. Yeah, okay. Too much to think here, but yep, nope. Again, you know, and that's the thing. We all have different experiences with that too. No, but definitely understand your point there. So one of the co-working spaces that I was part of, they had hiking. They had hiking every week. Like on a Saturday, they would organize hikes, and it just kind of, you know, it was just show up at this time. You know, you don't even, you know, don't have to sign up. Just if you want to be there, show up, and if you don't, no worries. And they took off at the same time. So yeah, food is super important. Yeah, that's for sure. You know, and I always like that about that. The fact their community were a bunch of hikers. That was kind of their thing. They just like, hey, we're in Maine. We're out exploring we want to explore all the awesomeness that's around in the mountains and everything else around Maine where they're at. So that worked out well for them. I don't think that's going to be, and that's not something that people do here in Michigan where I'm at. Hiking isn't necessarily a thing. But river rafting and being out and about are things. They like to do crafts here too. That's another one. People love their crafting here. Even the dudes, you know, are in different crafts and stuff. So there's a few people I may be partnering with to give people some experience, especially the art community here. It's pretty big. We have a lot of artists that are in the lake community around here. So to give them opportunity to come in and, you know, either share what they do through some teaching or to, you know, if they want to host an event and here with some art or something. I don't know. Like I said, it's all open. I'm just trying to figure it out. I don't have all the answers on this. It's going to end up being you know, my customers, my clients, my patrons are the ones that are going to tell me what they want. And then as long as it's, as long as it makes sense and it isn't dangerous or anything, we'll give it a go. You know what I mean? Because end of the day, I'm here to try to help. I'm here to help try to grow the business environment here in my local area, not build it in the way Ryan wants it done. So, you know, okay, cool. So there's that one. Moving along, good stuff here. All right. Okay, there we go. We are just inching along, getting these places set up. I'll come and grab all this mess here. So the other thing that was nice too, you just scoot over here. Unless we are already friends or they are different. Yeah. And one thing I'll tell you, I have a little bit of a different viewpoint on some of that stuff. And it's just from my experience. I was in the military for, gosh, how long was I in there? Why can't I remember how long I was in the military? 21 years, right? And one of the things that, again, I just had to learn, and we all kind of did who were in the military for the long haul folks, is uh, how quickly we are able to, the importance of at least making connections quickly with folks. It's one of the things, not getting into their space, but just saying, okay, are you somebody that I can spend time with? Are you somebody that, over the next 3 years that I'm going to be in this area? Are you somebody that I can invest time in? And for me, it was never really like that big of a deal. But for a lot of the folks that was in the military, it was huge. The connections and friendships they made. It's only been a couple of folks, and I connected with them kind of differently. That where I was like, oh, well, I'm still in contact with them. You know what I mean? So I get that too. You're friends beforehand, but there's some folks, there's people that I worked with that I worked with in the military, so at work, I still talk to probably a few times a week, just checking in with each other, see how things are going, um, to make sure, want to take care of my friend, and I've stayed in contact with them for decades now. And there's one guy I actually talked to quite a bit. We were on a deployment for the better part of just a couple months, and I talked to him every week, show me the side of them I don't like, at least. Oh yeah, yeah. Trust me. Yeah, I get you there. So the other spot too. So hey, so Greta, how old are you? Just curious. Because and it's not an age thing here. The reason I'm just curious is there are what I tell folks. Someone told me this when I was really young, and it's actually played true for a lot of folks. Is that we end up with 30. Yeah. So we we end up with we have three distinct careers in our lives when it comes to being like adults. Like and it's not for everybody. And again, but this is just something I've seen with folks, and I kind of talk with people about is, okay, which career are you currently in? And there's the first one, you get your job right out of, either out of school or whatever. And it's when you first spend a few years on, right? You realize, crap, I don't want to do this one. There's parts of this I just don't like. And you go find that other long job. And that ends up being your second one, which ends up being, between 10 to 15, maybe even a 20-year stint. And then you move towards retirement and you're like, well, I've bought everything I need to buy. I'm living where I'm going to live or whatever. Now I want to do the stuff that I really want to do. And that'd be like that third period. For some people, it's not until they actually retire. Like they retire and all of a sudden like, okay, I'm only going to do the stuff I want to do now because I'm retired. And that's the other spot that I found. But for the military folks, the reason I'm bringing this up is when I had a 20-year career, so my first 20 years were, kind of, I agreed to it every 4 years to redo it, right? When I reenlisted. But, I had a plan at the end of it for what my next career was. But my second career was 5 years, just 5 years in industry. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to work for anybody anymore. It's not my style. There's so many people that I want to be able to help with their businesses. So that's when I went into consulting and I found the thing that I really just love doing. And so that's what I mean. Like I'm on to my third act at this point. I may end up with a fourth act with some volunteer stuff later, but hopefully that makes sense what I'm saying. biotech master's degree, but honestly burnt out. Oh, whew. So I guess my thing. So yeah, and it's funny, like saying I got my master's in logistics and supply chain management. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy that like I got my degree in that, and I'm like, I don't want to be a logistician. I got it for the math, so I could be better. You know, I could better understand the math and flow for businesses and stuff. But I don't want to do that. So, what do you want to do? I guess there's something else you want to do? Like, would there be, you had, and this isn't going to be like one of those philosophical, go chase your dreams. I'm just curious, is there another job or is there something that you would like to go do and you think you would enjoy doing that you just haven't, that you either tried before or or you haven't tried, would want to give it a shot? Or I'm not telling you, go chase your dreams here, dude. I'm just saying, hey, is there anything like that? Because like for me, when I got into this consulting gig, I was doing it pro bono for all sorts of people. I was no anymore on the chase my dream thing feels. Yeah, well, like I say, like that chase your dream thing, what I recommend to folks is chase your dream as a side hustle until it's big enough to replace your main hustle. Like that would be the one advice I would tell you. If you have something you want to chase, you want to go after your dream, well, just be a side hustle until it's until it makes sense, right? Don't just go all in. I'm not a Cortez burning the ships, so you can't go back type of person. Like that's always been irresponsible. You got bills to pay, right? But what would you want to? What would that be? I'm just curious because you're a biotech guy. Well, where would Okay, so in consulting, anyone, anything. Well, what I would recommend for you is, here's the thing. I think that's pretty cool, actually. The way you want to do that. So I was just met today with a young lady. She invited me out for coffee. She's into marketing, and she didn't plan on like going into consulting. It just kind of happened, right? So people kept asking her. She's like, "All right, I guess I'll do this consulting gig now." And what she's finding, and I found the same thing too, which is kind of the experience piece here. Where she's finding her business is not where she expected to find her business. Like the people where she's providing value, she thought was going to be in a certain space, and now she's realizing like, holy crap, like there's people these small business owners in the niche that she's discovered are willing to pay good capital for her, because she's built a few websites in her time and and some of her marketing stuff, but it's turning into sales. Like there's people need help with their sales funnel, and she's advising on sales now is where a big chunk of her stuff is there. So hello, hey, welcome to the chat. It's good to see you guys. Let's see here. School took my project and gave me no credit. Oh, yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, that they're not going to help you out with that professional advice either, because they're teachers. A lot of them, end of the day, they don't have the relevant experience. And again, I'm not sure. I'm just speaking broadly here, where they didn't have the experience building and grinding their own business. You know what I mean? So they don't know what to tell you. So, yeah. So what questions you got there? If you've got questions, I'm just here talking, guys. I'm literally setting up my co-working space here and putting down some stuff. So if you got questions, just throw them in the chat. You know what I mean? But yeah. So, but with that, I wouldn't really be worried too much about the professional advice from them. If you're looking for professional advice, go talk to professionals. Like if there's somebody if you're worried about, you want to learn about consulting, I guarantee you can find some consultants in your area that will buy them some coffee and they'll talk to you about, whatever. Because with consulting, I'm looking for one more thing of Velcro here. All right, there it is. There it isn't there. Am I missing one? Must be missing one. Okay, got to cut another one. Thing with consultants, most of us operate on abundancy theory, right? We'll just do this. Oh, here we go. Operate in abundancy theory. The more of us around, the more of us helping businesses get better, the better we all do. So, that would be my bit of advice. Go talk to them. I guarantee you, they'll give you some time, because most of us started in the exact same way, just asking for advice from someone who was doing it. All right, what is going on here? Where are you at? Trying to uncluster this mess here. Yeah, because that's what I did when I was starting here. Started with my consulting piece. I went and talked to a consultant that I had a lot of that I knew, and I trusted his judgment on whether or not I would be any good at this crap, right? And so he actually had me come in with one of his clients during one of his service days that he had with them, and just let me jump in and offer my 2 cents. It was pretty cool. So we did that. But so anybody else in the chat, you say you want to collaborate, you got questions. What do you want to collaborate about, and what questions do you got? Just curious. You know, again, those that we haven't really, if we haven't discussed it yet or haven't been here for it, I'm a business coach that works out of West Michigan. And what I'm doing right now is just working on my co-working space, getting it set up for my small little portion of Michigan. It's going to be better. Yeah, it's been snow pickup yet. Still just barely snowing out. So hopefully I'm going to get through today without any snow. That would be nice. That would be a W. All right, let's see. Is that? Matter of fact, you know what? No, I'm good here. Finish this up. But yeah, no, it's been great though. The more I've been doing this thing and working out in this spot here, is the number of people that I have that are reaching out and just again that are looking for just a small office or just a desk to rent. There's quite a few, so I'm pretty excited about that. Now, other piece with this is I've been getting, my website has been getting, no employees. If I need anything done, I contract it out. You know, so no employees. I pretty much have automated everything that I need done. So like including this space is going to be, you know, pretty much automated, the whole thing. So you sign up, you get access to the building, you get your codes for the building, all in basically one shot. Same thing for your login for the Wi-Fi for the network. So I wanted to build this in a way that it wasn't going to really be extra work for me. And you know, yeah, because I've already got a job. Ain't trying to make too much extra work here, you know. Now that doesn't mean that I don't hire people from time to time. Like for instance, I'll bring on like a virtual assistant in this late spring to summer time frame. I bring on a virtual assistant just because the number of calls that I start getting and the inquiries I get for my work, it always goes up as you're heading into summer. So I just need somebody to kind of help filter. So because I don't really want to be filtering all that spots. So yeah, well, so with that, you know, I thank you for that. It's smart, but it's also just better for anybody who's like one of my clients or customers, right? When it comes to coming in here for the co-working space. I mean, you know, like you'd be a prime example of this. You just want to come in and work. You're not trying to talk to me. You know what I mean? Like you're not trying to talk to me. You want to come in, have a place to work, and not be bothered by anybody. And that's really where I want to start, is like the base experience with this spot. I need a place, you get the rental. Don't need to, you know, have too many conversations other than, hey, what's your name? I need a billing address, and then give me a credit card so I can go do the thing, you know. Yeah, so if are you talking about my other profession outside of consulting, or this? Because I don't have, you know, I'm a pensioner since I retired from the military, so I got money coming in there, and then I am, like I say, a business coach. And my business coaching is a little bit different than others. I'm an exit planner, So what I do is I help people who are getting ready to sell their business or who want to eventually sell their business. So when they work for me, we already kind of have the plan in place that you are going to be, um, you're going to be leaving your business at some point. And my job is to help them extract as much value as they can from their business. Who is this guy? Sorry about that. And that exit planning, that's a whole certification into itself. I just got the full certification a couple months ago. So I am a consultant and a landlord. Yes, that's what I am currently. And I'm a part owner in a coffee shop. That's the other one too. We have a coffee shop that we just opened up a little bit ago. So that's another spot. It gives a little bit of income, not much. I'm not the lead owner. I'm just a minority owner in the local coffee shop too. So I'm just trying to spread out my my earning, my revenue streams. You know what I mean? I want to be able to have those split up. That's been a plan. It's taken me. I guess the other piece of advice here, just talk to a lot of clients about, and a lot of folks who are, starting to think about making the move towards consulting and other stuff, is that it takes all this stuff that you want to do and all the ideas that you want to have when it comes to starting your own business or building out your different revenue streams and all those different things. It just takes time. Like, that's the other spot. There's a lot of time. You have to have a really long time horizon. So you're asking me about how did I create a family? Well, for the first 20 years of my existence, I was in the military. So, I was married in the military. My wife and my family, my kids, they traveled with me. And what I did was, my plan was after the military, or in the military, was to maximize my schooling and make sure that when I retired, because when you retire from the military in the US, you get half of your paycheck the rest of your life, cheap medical, and the benefits that come with that. So I knew I was going to have like my house payment, right, at a certain age. But the plan was have family, raise the kids, but get my master's degree before I left the military. So I could leverage my experience and training in the military with private education to make myself as desirable as possible to employers. But what I discovered, so that's how I kind of managed it. I just had a family and made it a priority. Whenever I did, I was back home with my family. I had one job where I worked 24, like I had 24/7 hours, and I just made it a priority though that I was going to be home for dinner every night. Did my best to just, hey, I will be here for dinner. My wife made fun of me though because I always got calls during dinner. That was a thing. But I was there at least. So I just made it a priority, and I gave up on a lot of there's stuff I didn't get to do, but it was more important to take care of my family and raise them that way. So that was the priority. But I had a long-term plan. Like, I went into the military specifically with the goal of I will have a master's degree by the time I'm done here. So it was a long-term plan. Now I'm a scientist. So I've got a cousin who's your age, and he's been he's a professional where he works at. He's in the healthcare industry, and he's done very well. He's moved to like he is the top creme de la creme in his area. All right, and he's struggled. Not struggle is probably the right word though. He's wanted a family for a very long time. He just hasn't been able to find the right person. You know what I mean? And what I kept telling him is like, you will eventually run into somebody who's going to be a good fit. You just got to keep looking, keep trying, and just know, but have a long-term view on it. Like, you'll eventually land on somebody that is going to be a good fit for you, and that they're going to be, matched with you at that time when you don't try to force it. And just this last summer, he, a few months ago, back in the late spring, early summer, he landed one, and he's been to meet the parents, and all the things that happen when you meet that person. And he's like, kind of like, wow, is it happening? And I told him, I was like, remember this, that, just keep your longer term horizon on all this stuff. And if she's the right one, she'll be the right one. You'll know it. You'll both know it. That's the thing. You won't have to like convince her. It shouldn't be work when you're dating, is what is my number one advice to people. It should be easy. It'd be frustrating at times. Again, men, the people that we care about, we obviously we have an emotional investment with them. So there's going to be some of that. But beyond that, it shouldn't be challenging. Marriage is where the real work comes in. But yeah, I would just say, don't 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 try too hard. Don't worry about it too much, because you're supposed to be, you'll run into that person when you're supposed to run into that person, and not before. It's H to the B's. For me, again, I happened to meet my wife. It was by accident. We just happened to be on the same bowling league, of all things, when I was younger. And I had a list of, here's the things I'm looking for, and my wife, she checked off 9 out of 10 of them. The one she didn't was cooking. She would cook, but it wasn't her favorite thing. So, but that was enough for me. And we've been together. Let's see here, what year is this here now? I think it'll be 26 years. 26 years now. So cool. So anyways, we have gotten through this part here. So all of my hot seats are basically set now. That's pretty exciting. Like that for us. Okay, I knew there's more travel here. Sorry. Now, you go into the conference room. Got a couple things in. I'm fated not to letting my ancestors down. Yeah, like I said, all I can tell you is just try not to be too hard on yourself. That's one of the biggest things that people just, when they're looking for relationships, especially if you're in a professional industry and you're professional, you made a lot of decisions that were in your best interest, and the people that you're going to be around, right? Because you're in a professional environment, are people who have always also only made decisions in their best interest, right? Nature of the beast, they're professionals in a professional environment. It's a thing, right? So, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I really wouldn't. I'm gonna grab my laptop. 1 second. All right. Yeah. So, what you're really trying to struggle through right now is, how are you going to find a spot where somebody is in the same space as you, where you both are willing to move past your professional piece to decide to settle down, and I want to say necessarily make some decisions that are in the best interest of future you, like longer term, and also the best interest of somebody else too. So funny. So here's the deal, and this is just the cycle of things. You're getting into the divorcee cycle when you're in your 30s, right? In your 20s, you get the first. A lot of people are on their first go, and now once you get into your 30s, it's people who the pool refills with a certain percentage of people who are on looking for their second marriage. Okay, so you're going to have folks who made some impulsive decisions, which we all do. We're all human, right? Not a bad thing. It just is what it is. That are now moving into that other area where, like, hey, I'm looking to do something a little bit different. Okay, so that's what I mean. Don't be too worried, because you are about to enter. That dating pool is about ready to grow a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's something that I've seen with folks time and time again. All right, so I am just moving my. Sorry, I'll get right back in frame here in a second. Just got to get my connector for this. Got some client work I got to do. Yeah, I mean, so that's what I meant to say, man. Just kind of keep your head up. You're gonna, and just keep grinding, doing your thing. Take that longer term perspective, because it's about to turn around for you. Like, that's all I can really say. That can be a thing. So, but all that being said, just remember.
Enter Bluetooth.
Let me try
Wait for connection.
and turn you off.
Power off.
There we go. But yeah. So, anyways, enough on that. I'm not gonna, beat you up on that. Just keep your, keep focused. You'll be all right. Oh, let's see. So yeah, now I'm just kind of checking in on a few things with my clients. You missed a first round draft pick. Yeah, you know what though? What's probably nice about that, and there's a lot of folks that it takes some people a few tries to figure out exactly what they want, right, out of life. That's what I mean. Try not to look at it as like a first round draft pick because where the first people that they had together may not end up actually be the right folks for them. They thought what they wanted was one thing, when in reality, it's a wasteland out there. Yeah, I mean, it was a wasteland. It's always been a wasteland. It's because you have a lot of folks, they don't know what they want out of life. That's just what it is. And where's my Wi-Fi at? And that's saying, unless you find two people that actually know what they want and are willing to, like with my wife. I mean, to be honest, like with my wife, we both knew what we wanted. I had a plan, she had a plan, right? But before her, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying about that wasteland out there. There's a lot of folks that just wrong perspective in life, and we're not going to work out. You know what I mean? So I've always said, I married way over my pedigree with my wife. I lucked out on a lot of stuff for sure. I mean, I know that for a fact. So, but yeah, back to the work stuff there, man. I'm telling you, I find yourself, like, where are you at anyways? Probably this question I should have asked from the beginning here. Assuming let's see, I made an assumption. Let's see if I'm right. Probably not, but I have a feeling you're in Europe for some reason. You're in USA. Okay, cool. East Coast or West Coast? Sorry, I'm just going through and updating a few things here. East Coast, okay. Yeah, I would definitely tell you right now. Just keep your head up over there. It's the type of folks out there, but yeah, you're definitely getting ready on the East Coast. Somebody who moved from that general direction. The pool is getting bigger for you there. But when it comes to, especially the East Coast, there's when it comes to consulting, and this is probably an important piece for you to hear, a lot of the consultants in the industry, regardless of the industry, they are they're aging out, like they're leaving. So there's a vacuum for competent consultants who can come in and help people. I think you'd be shocked and amazed at how quickly you'd be able to find work, even part time, just to test the waters. I think you would be kind of surprised. Small business news, shorts, done. I'm just updating one of my. Like I say, hopefully, again, I haven't asked yet or not. I'm not sure if you're subscribed or not, but hopefully, I earned your subscription today. Hopefully, it's been good conversation for you because I've enjoyed it. It's just as a heads up though, I don't just do business stuff. You're going to see me also doing some gardening stuff as well too. So just FYI on that. Don't be surprised if you see that spot where all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? This guy was talking about business. Now he's out. Independent consultant. And the main reason on that. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that sub. Yeah. That independent consultant for sure. Biggest piece is that when you are you're under a firm, yes, you're going to learn the business and you're going to learn the way that they want you to do business, not necessarily the way that you would do business. You're still an employee. When you do your independent consulting, you get to pick like who you want to work with, like for your clients. Like I have a no asshole policy with my clients. You cannot be an asshole, can't be a jerk, um, in order to work with, to work with me. Also, there's an agreement that you have to do the work, because I work really hard for my clients, but you have to do the work. And if I see you not doing the work, we don't work together anymore. I'll talk to you about it, but really you might get, it's not even a three strikes. If I talk to you and say, hey, I need you to have this by this date, we agree to it, handshake, and then you don't get that stuff to me once, we have a conversation, and then the second time you don't get your work done, we're kind of done working together. I expect to work with people who are, and that's what I mean. So like I have it's a very, very tight niche that I work in, but we get great results. And that's kind of the expectation. Because if I'm going to invest the amount of time that I invest for my clients, where over half my day on a given day is designated research for my clients in their industries, either industry trends or overall macro business awareness to help them out, I expect them to be able to do the work on certain things. But first things first, they can't be jerks. So, that was just the case. I got started consulting. Well, let's see, what kind of stuff do you ask for from a client so that you can do your work? So it really kind of depends. But I mean, I can give you some examples here. One of the things that I start with all my clients on is something called um, it is ideal client avatars. So, everybody's kind of got their ideal client. Like, who is the perfect client? We're going to give them a name, and they can probably name them. Like, they've worked with them, so they know, like, this person or this business, if it's business to business, they know where, like, the buyer is, like, where they're at in their state of mind and what they need. So we build out I need them to start with, and we work through it piece by piece, bit by bit, on what a full sale demographic looks like for them. But I need them to do the work because I don't know their clients, right? I don't know who the heck they've worked with. And we go back and forth with that quite a bit. And if I see that they're doing that, like, that's the type of work I need them to do. Because if I come back and they haven't done the work, like, I've got nothing to talk to them about, because that is one of the first things I need them to do. So I can get a better idea on the industry dynamics that I'm seeing. We match that up with their ideal client. And that's earlier when I mentioned about that delta analysis. That's one place where we look at a delta analysis. What do we have for pain points that they're dealing with, right? Like, when you're dealing, the thing that businesses forget about, and one of the first things I coach my clients on, is that for businesses, your job is to reduce friction. Your job is to make things easier for someone. They're giving you money for time, regardless of what it is. It's always money for time. That's the idea. They're gonna they're paying me to help them build their businesses faster than them trying to figure it out over the multiple years. I'm coming to them with frankly, here's the toolkit that you need to get the base level business figured out, and then we build it out from there. So I'm like, it's that cheat code. So, you know, we're looking for that delta. Here's where your ideal client is, and here's what industry's saying. We've got to find a way to align these, in a way, realign your entire business structure. For my clients, that really, I'm in the advice business. So first and foremost, I don't, I deliver advice to them, and I give them a series of, uh, okay, here is the overall alignment that you need to set your stuff up in. And what my deliverable is evaluation, quality assurance, coaching, and next steps. And I'm also on call. That's one thing I just offer. I'm kind of unique in that way, where it's concierge type service. Anytime they can call me, 24/7. I have do not disturb on my phone most, in the evenings, except for my clients' phone numbers. They're straight hot to me if they need something. Which, most of the time they don't call. But, like, for instance, I had one of my clients where one of their people unfortunately was involved in basically, trying to think, YouTube, make sure there's no issues that come up with it. But let's just say there was an argument that involved some weapons, and a lot of people didn't make it. Okay. It was in the evening, and I got a call. They gave me a call at like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Nothing, still up. About, hey, this just happened. I'm not sure what to do. And I said, no problem. Let's talk through it. And I gave them a game plan to that morning, and email, and basically how to have, the step-by-step things they should be looking for. One, for how to talk to their people about what happened, and then be available, and what services were available. And then number two, from a HR side, to make sure that they were meeting all their legal requirements for somebody that was unalived, basically. Right? There's things you have to be aware of. And then I had them do that. We had a meeting afterwards and just kind of coached them through it. And then, that's that. So that's what I mean. That when it comes to deliverables, I'm there for advice and direction. And that's for a lot of business owners. They're really good at running their business. Like they know the job part of it. They don't know the business side of it, right? They're technicians, technical experts. They don't understand the overall business. So I don't do contracts. I do a subscription. Yeah. So I charge a monthly fee. I make them write a check to me. I don't take credit card or ACH payments. I make all of my clients write a check, physical check to me. And basically the agreement is if you're ever writing that check, signing that check, and it doesn't feel like I'm providing value, just let me know we're done. No harm, no foul. My job is to make sure that is the happiest signature on a check you're writing. Like, man, I'm so glad to be working with Ryan. This is awesome. And you're excited to get that check in the mail. You make sure it's the first one you sign every month. Yep. Yep, you got it. So that way, there's some months where, I don't even see my clients. We might talk once, just a check-in phone call. We're like, hey, how are things? They're like, we're good. Cool. Next month, I got some work we're going to work on then, give them some. And then there's some months where I may talk to them every day if they have some serious stuff going on where I'm just helping work through. Consulting medical devices. So that depends on what you're doing within that. Again, when you're talking about the medical devices, because you're talking about the business of medical, again, that's pretty niche, but there's enough consulting within there. If you've got success where you've seen that, as far as specifically, there's an awful lot of startups. There's always a host of startups in the medical device community. There's always an ever-present group of them there. So that's an open field to people who have come up with something, but they don't know how to may necessarily work it into industry. So it depends where you're at. You know what I mean? That may be a bit. I don't want to say that's a niche that isn't going away. There's always going to be medical devices out there. So you just got to kind of figure your angle. But what I'd tell you honestly, you'd be shocked if you start going that route. You may be surprised to see where you actually end up too, because for a lot of people, they don't, like I said, I had a plan on who I thought my clients were going to be and my ideal clients, and I've ended up kind of in a different world where the level of depth and breadth that they have isn't quite where I thought it was going to be. It's more I'm dealing with people. A lot of my clients, not a lot. What I'm finding is in my ideal client has actually shifted because my market ended up being something different here than I thought it was going to be. Where there are more businesses that aren't quite fully developed. They're not matured. So I'm helping them grow that. I'm helping them grow their business and set up their businesses and grow versus coming in and help them refine their businesses to sell. All right. So what do you got here? I ask if the product good and how. Yeah, that's a large part. Yeah, exactly. So if they don't know, like you'd be looking in the sales, ask if the product is good, how was tested to be good. Yeah. So a big part of that, what you'd be coming in is that exact piece here. What is your, just like we talked about those avatars, what's your audience? What's the overall market? How'd you figure out your market? How is this better? Right. The other piece too, that, just to throw that out there for you, is the biggest piece that I work with clients on is it's not about what they do is better than everyone else, but how is it different? Right. So that would be something in that industry as well, right? Because you've got lots of people who create those the products that they have. What's different about their product or service and how they deliver to their ideal client? What do they do that's different? And the example that I put out here for folks to understand is like you got McDonald's and Burger King, right? You don't go to McDonald's for a Whopper, right? You don't go to Burger King for a Big Mac. They offer very similar products, but there's differentiators. And what is it that's different about the way that they do it? So that would be the piece where you could probably find within your industry there, that niche spot that you're talking about, to really find that, to find your edge, to be able to work in and help people really refine that, to build out their overall their sales funnel and their marketing strategy. That's what I'd be looking at. Hope that made sense. Because again, I do work with some people that have products, but most of the people I deal with are service industry people. Good for developing a medical device. There you go. Yeah, exactly. So that's 100. That's exactly what you'd hope to feel there, where you've got that. You're realizing you have experience. And again, if you were to come in and they hire you as an employee, like that's kind of the difference, right? You would come in as an expert into this one company. You've got the expertise in this one area, right? And when it comes to these medical devices or whatever it happens to be, any industry. So you would be coming in commanding certain, um, salary for your experience to help that one company. What's great about consulting is you're coming in as the resident expert across multiple companies. Pot and it. So one of the things that I do is I only help one company per industry, like basically within one market. So only one, like I work with a credit union, so I only work with one banking institution within this market. The bank somewhere outside of market wants to hire me in, I'll go work with them, but that's it. So that way I'm really helping to define, in my opinion, who's going to be the best in that market, in this, the best financial institution in this market. So in your case, you've got this medical device protocol, right? You're coming in just to help this one. You market your services, consultant, that you're a 1099. They don't have to bring you on for benefits. That's stuff that you handle yourself. And then you're able to help them, and then you can move on to some other businesses as well that may have different devices. But again, if you're helping with protocol, that bounces between specific companies. Yeah, that's kind of where I'd be looking at that. If you've got, especially when it comes to those, it's yeah, conflict of interest for sure. Um, you can't help, but I mean, I do share because I share best practices, with consent from all my clients. Like, we are always kind of chatting back and forth, and I kind of make sure that they're all talking amongst themselves about stuff. But when I find something on a business level that is working with the folks that are in this particular market, right? Because every market employees are a little bit different. Can Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and can back both sides. The other side of that too, though, is um, yeah, I don't want to say it. I guess I would feel dirty if I knew something was working in one and I couldn't share it. I like, because they're a competitor, and so I'm taking their money and not really giving 100%. Like, that's kind of the other side. It's just from an ethical side of side of things. I don't want that for that. Just make me feel dirty, you know. And yeah, it was conflict of interest, but mainly it's just I'm all in with my clients. I think about them all the time. Like, I've got um, a, a senior living center that's on Lake Michigan. It's beautiful. It's overlooking the lake. It's gorgeous. But there's a ton of senior living centers, and I've had a few reach out to me, and I just can't, because I want to make sure that I like the folks that I work with, right? Because I've vetted them, and they're really good people, and their employees are great, and they're building a business that's great for the community. So I want to be all in with them. That's really where it comes down to, more than anything. Okay, sorry, I just got checking this. Okay, all right. But yeah, I mean, I'd look at it, especially if you feel that you can deliver value, and that's that piece, right? When you're looking at your overall market, if you know you can deliver value, don't be surprised that you have a market that's available for you. The other piece to take a look at too is, there's some people, if you haven't really looked into this, consulting, how you want to go about doing this, what you're pricing in different areas. Um, there's a there's a few people out there that I recommend folks kind of listen to, just to kind of get an idea for it. One of them for sure is going to be Future, Futur. That's his name. He's got a YouTube channel. He's in the design space, so a lot of those things. But um, he's in the design space, but all of his stuff on pricing and setting yourself up as an independent consultant, it applies. So I definitely look into it. Okay. Oh, cool, man. Good for you. Good for you, man. That's awesome. Like I was saying, you can always feel free to send me a note. You know how to you can always reach out to me through the YouTube stuff. Summit Business Guides, the links in the description there. You can see. If you ever just want to chat or whatever like that. But yeah, just take some time, think about it. Make sure that you spend time on that. Like I was saying, figure out your market, but also that ideal client. I think it'll help you really refine, and then spend some time. Then really go see what you can do. I think you'd be surprised at how quickly you're going to be able to find value. So, oh, gardening, cool. I think you're going to like it then, because my next video, my long form one I'm going to have is I'm actually insulating my greenhouse. So I've got a 6x6x16 greenhouse that I'm going to be insulating, like a temporary insulation for over the winter, so I can start some of my plants a little earlier this year, be ready to go. But you'll see some of my silly videos on that as well too. But cool, I'm excited for you. That's good stuff. That's going to be okay. All right, so next on my list, I've got this area. I'm just kind of looking at the rest I got around here. I think that's about it for me today on the stream. So it was good chatting with you. I hope hit the notification bell. I'm trying to come at a project. Oh yeah, yep. Okay, yeah. Actually, I have a few people that I've been talking to on my during my gardening chats. We talk about and they actually, a lot of them are talking about the benefits of certain types of plants with copper magnets, stuff like that. It's pretty neat. We get into some pretty in-depth conversations, especially when I go live during the, basically starting in February, March, when I'm out in the greenhouse doing work. It's pretty cool. So make sure you hit that notification bell. You'll see when I'm coming live, and you'll see me, all of my garden gear. Probably have all my hats on and stuff too. So, but it was good chatting with you today. Take care, man. When we get out of here, I got to start thinking about some lunch and start working for stuff I got this afternoon. So we'll see you. Take care. See you next time.